Hey guys, next amp I got here is a Marshall Valvestate VS100 combo. It's a 112-inch speaker. This had a lot wrong with it, so of course I had it completely apart fixing it. But what I didn't know is that the Valvestate amps by Marshall actually have a 12AX7 tube in the preamp. I didn't really go into detail and figure out exactly what it was doing, but I'm guessing it's either being used for power tube emulation or as an actual gain stage, which is really nice. Kind of like the Vox Tone Lab that uses the same technology that sounds so good. And this is definitely one of my favorite hybrid amps I've ever heard. I don't know if it's just having the 12AX7 in there, but you really get the Marshall kind of sound and feel from a not all tube amp. So definitely check this one out if you're looking for like a mid-range combo. Maybe if you have high-end gear and you want a good practice amp, this would be a very good choice. The only thing I've noticed, it doesn't quite have as much gain as you might want if you're playing high gain stuff. It has a lot of distortion. It sounds really nice, but the compression and the sustain isn't quite there. So you might have to add a pedal in front of it if you're using it like that, if you normally use really high gain gear. But here it is. Okay, here's the clean channel. This head does have 3 channels because you can switch between the overdrives in that mode. So you have clean, overdrive 1, and overdrive 2. Here's clean through my single coil neck pickup. Pretty sparkly. Alright, I just had to switch guitars, I broke a string. So anyway, here's the clean channel again. Okay, so moving over to the overdrive channels. Right now we're on overdrive 1. I've got the gain pretty low. See how it sounds. And then David Caruso walks in. But seriously, you get a pretty super lead kind of feel to it. When you turn the gain all the way up, it sounds more like a JCM 800. And I actually think Marshall did a really good job in this amp kind of capturing that characteristic Marshall kind of sound, even though it only has 1 tube in it, you know, it's solid state. But it gives you the same kind of sound, even though the feel, you know, and the thump is pretty different. So here's the overdrive channel 1 with the gain all the way up. And you get quite a bit more distortion, but really the gain and like the compression and the sustain really isn't there as much as it would be on a tube amp. I mean, you can still hit all the harmonics, but it doesn't just jump out at you. So now moving over to overdrive 2, this one's a little heavier. Gives you more like a heavy crunch sound with the gain down. Turning the gain all the way up, you'll probably be using this as your lead channel anyway, so the other channels are probably better for crunch. So here's channel, or Overdrive 2 with the gain all the way up. You can probably tell I'm having trouble with some of the tap harmonics. Like, there just really isn't the compression and sustain there like you'd get out of a tube amp. So you might have a little trouble with that, but like I said, you could add, a pedal in front of the amp and probably take care of that pretty easily. Putting another gain stage in there. But I do like the definition in this channel. It's a pretty good definition for a solid state bass distortion amp. It retains that kind of Marshall twangy sound even when it goes into the smoother distortion overdrive, which I like because that's what a real Marshall does. This amp does also have clean reverb and overdrive reverb. I don't like it at all, actually. Take a listen. Just doesn't really sound natural to me. Not a big deal, because I like this amp quite a bit for everything else it has. The last thing it has is a power dimension button, which I'm guessing emulates a overdriven power section of like a tube Marshall amp. So when you engage it, it actually quiets the amp down a little, so you can turn the volume up. And it improves the sound, changes it quite a bit. The other thing this amp has is a contour knob. I would have completely left it off because I don't think it sounds good pretty much anywhere out of the 5 range. So I pretty much just left it here the whole time. Anything else just sounds kind of unnatural to me. I'm sure somebody could find a use for it, but I just don't really like it.